EXP laners, the Masha comes through though this time.
And everything has worked so well right here. The fact that Onyx should not have a suppression available to them. But with this weird pick in the jungle, they're able to secure that. And because of that, dude, the early game was brutal, man. Again, there's so many ways to secure the kills. They got the damage output supplemented by Luki on the Masha. And if you look at the win conditions for TLID here, which is, get some damage, right? Have enough damage to melt down the Masha so that the Masha can't really be out of control. They're going to be relying on Kill. And in the mid game, Kill was 0 and 4. Onyx knew exactly who they wanted, and every single team fight, Kill was just demolished, dude. He was not allowed to participate.
He was totally shut down. I mean, we talked about the Masha again, having so much agency, plus the Luoyi as well that helped the Masha activate. With the diversion, you could see that he was going in for those important prior targets, like the Paris, the Barca again. Not only that, but he's also able to display the macro game, but push up top, always push the waves and make it crash onto the turret. So it's like CLID are overwhelmed with so many issues that Onyx just brings to the table, and voila, it's just a quick game.
And we're going to start talking about Savero. The fact that he's on an Aerithal, so...
Beda sama di ini, oi. Di Kalau Onyx di MPL jago-jago, coy.
And get those volume to be able to deal with the Masha, with the spot presence of Onyx. They can't do it either. So the layering of the win conditions from Onyx here is crazy, man. This is what makes it so difficult to try and extract what Onyx are going to come up with when Coach here is
Keeping giants, right? So expecting, depending on how close the series goes, the fact that we've seen the performance.
Ini apa nih? Durasi 12 menit, 16 detik. Durasi 12 menit, 16 detik.
Touched yet or scratched on the surface.
Look, the only skills that
Dadang.
Everyone else.
Simpel banget namanya Dadang, anjay. Sapio.
Yeah, dude. That was crazy. People went to the front line on the with the shortcut.
Parasha. Team Liquid.
Everyone else, the chip is the most sacrificial one. Yeah. So fine, take the chip. Use your better airstrike. Use all the combos on the chip. We don't care. Like it's the Luoyi can
Dadang,
the Masha can go with. The Aerithal can just heavy crossbow and just start shooting. That's crazy.
I'd say very seamless game as well. It's not like they wanted to play the Python style, but at the same time they were running into TLID, latently. So it was hard for TLID to come again. And we have the competition. Would Akai be a better pick if they need something this way? The Masha from running, right? The Madanga should really stop him because besides the Masha, you also have the chip, and then you have the Aerosol coming down after. We also have that conversation, well, maybe a split push carry around might be better, but I think that also kind of is hard. They have the Luoyi to match that pressure.
Exactly. And the Masha in a 1v1 really isn't any pushover either. So this is someone who's push that can escape, mainly. So some people thought the Metadata might be an option for Aran. If it's not that, I think the Madang will work against a lot of different dive compositions. But I think the comp with the Masha in particular, man, these guys literally just power through the fierce attack and just go to town. That's why we thought the high maybe at least it's not as damage heavy, but it's more constant power control. Maybe would have been enough to save one of the backline members. But overall, again, once you go and solve one problem, the other ones are still given to you by Onyx. So that still isn't a winning condition. Man, nothing given, honestly.
I mean, you can see from the stats that, he has still tried his best, right? Getting 2,000 damage dealt. But overall, he actually is supposed to Lucy on the Masha, so...
I think there is some 6k off, yeah. That ultimate is very strong as well to play around Onyx's backline. But Onyx was very, very calculated.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
But I think what you should look at right here is the fact that PO, he was marginally a bit more damage over Aran on the Badang. This is a Heron, and this is a Heron that wants to be free fighting, right? Right. Yes. You can see that he was absolutely shut down. we talked about how Onyx can shut down junglers, but we're seeing again, when the jungle is in the win condition, they can go for the mid lane. They know how to shut down every single role here in order to really shut down whatever win opportunities your team can possibly get. And Kyo was the recipient of that factor here.
For
in
sure.
Thursday.
He's only on 2 items. He hasn't even gotten the chance to either go Holy Crystal or
Right.
even, Blood Wings. Nothing. Just the Starium Sight of the Feather of Heaven. And back to the point earlier, despite Yehaskill being one of
ngerti
the
gue ngomongnya
highest
apaan,
on the damage belt, it makes sense. Because the damage belt is only on the Keyboy. Meanwhile, if we're looking at Onyx, you can see that the damage belt was given over onto the important people, right? Kyo, a lot of times getting taken down. You can see him getting a lot of damage taken. Weedy as well, even Iran. So, like you guys mentioned, the Badang wasn't given any chance or possibility to make a play, considering that every time he did go.
Which is the Badang, like, probably something to brag about. If it was maybe, I'll be going home like, Mom, Dad, Kelra mentioned me, dude. I'm someone now. I'm a real human now.
Accolade.
I was a nobody.
I'll hang it on the wall that I was quoted by Kelra. But I had this conversation with Mirko. I asked him, what do you think if Kelra makes it to MPL ID? Do you think he'll get destroyed? Nah, he'll destroy everyone. Bar Eman, he says.
Bar Eman.
Or maybe on the same level.
Oh.
Eman and Kelra.
Yeah.
Same level.
I think there's a clash.
Interesting take.
Bold statement here, realized in
Take.
front of the public.
No. I'm not saying that they are on the same level, but they're kind of close. At least in the.
I think Eman, it's safe to say that Eman is the closest thing
Yeah.
we have to Kelra.
What I'm trying to say is
At
that
this point in time, yes.
But to say that they're close,
Yeah, equal.
equal,
Equal?
even.
No, I mean like what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's rephrase
Okay,
everything, right?
okay, it's fine, it's fine.
So the
We'll go back.
scenario-
We'll
Step
go
back, take a step
The
back.
scenario was, what if
Okay.
Kelra enters MPL ID?
Right.
And Mirko says, yeah, he's going to destroy MPL ID. He's going to be going insane. But the only guy who can get close to him is Eman.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the main premise. I'm not saying that he's equal to Eman.
This is where phrasing becomes important. Really.
Yeah, we gotta
be careful
phrase
with that.
properly.
You know, sometimes it's hard.
Yeah, you're a victim of it, huh?
I have bear witness to interesting phrasing coming in from Real Life. That is certainly the case.
But speaking of interesting, we're actually going to see these two teams opt to swap sides. TLID for game number 2 will actually be on red side, I believe. Did I see the asset correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say it was correct. Let's say it is correct. Let's say my eyes didn't fail me this time, right?
Yeah.
What would we say would be different coming from them on red side?
Oh boy, I feel like for them on red side, then the Fanny for sure will show up on their side of the bands. It's just a bit too important. But along with that, I don't think they're going to go for a full-on assassin type of band. There could be a chance that they want to go for one of the macro threats. I'm not sure if they want to go toe-to-toe against Onyx, you know, like low Yi for Chip or Chip for low Yi. So I think it's going to start there. And along with that, maybe some looks towards the gold lane, right? Because the gold lane, if both teams are so good and they can kind of like stall out long enough, the gold lane always becomes important. So, especially with Kyo in the picture, that has to be a bit more book. I feel like Stupid ID definitely have some ideas for that gold lane.
I think if we're talking generally for the draft in the red side, TLID has a chance to be more reactive. So they can probe, like you said, look at, draft early on, and then they can respond to what Onyx wants to play. So now they're following the script, but they can flip it in the last few picks.
So let's see if that's actually going to come to unfold as we get into the drafts. Ladies and gentlemen, for game number 2, presented to you by the official tournament smartphone, Samsung Galaxy. With TLID now on red side, there you go. We are seeing a change. Louis banned out, respected from Suns. Onyx, however, still go for the same route, right? They're still banning Fabian with a Ling, the Joy, and we're expecting maybe yet another jungle ban here coming to the 3rd spot.
Wait a second, is Onyx trying to force Stupid ID to put